Okay, so I'm doing it early. I haven't even opened my curtains yet. It stays dark. I'm telling you, yesterday it was like so dark until like 8:30 or 9, and then it's just barely a little glaze of light. But I have so many things in my mind. It's like, oh, I gotta talk about them because it gets too clogged up. And then I start thinking, oh, I'm gonna forget that. I'm gonna forget that, which I forget things in 30 damn seconds. So it's more of just like, it just feels like a whirlwind inside there. And today's April Fool's Day, but I won't be joking. So, yeah, isn't it kind of funny that they made an April Fool's Day? I wonder where it goes back to because they just look at us like fools. So I wonder what's going to happen today, what they're going to be showing us or telling us or whatever. No, whatever. I would say it's probably lies. So, oh, and my mom told me that on the news that they keep showing footage of Jada. I think her name's Jada Pinkett Smith or something. Or is that one of the kids? I don't know. Did they name their kids the same name as them? I don't even know. I'm not that familiar with them. But that there's all this footage coming out about her talking about how much she loves being bald. She loves her bald head. Her bald head is so beautiful and stuff. And so, yeah, and now she's going to be the representative for the alopecia drug. So, um, another thing too that they keep talking about is they're swingers or whatever. They've got an open relationship. They're, just you don't need to be married and stay monogamous. What's that about? No, you raise kids. You just show them free love. Let's all have sex. So it's like they've already been kind of in the forefront of leading us down an immoral trail, because the thing is it's an empty lifestyle. I've known people who have lived it, and it's an empty lifestyle. The open marriage, go out, yeah, you get this little supercharge. It's like, oh yeah, honey, if you want to go do heroin, do it sometimes. That's okay. I'm like, where's that going to lead to? So, and all of these things are like drugs. Just like I said, like I was a shopaholic. It was a drug. I go out. I still get off on going to the thrift store and finding some good deal. It's just now I'm spending a lot less, so find something for $3. Oh, look at this, $3. I get super excited. It's like a big charge. But I don't use it now like I used to use it. Like if I was feeling bad, oh, shopping, that's the answer, shopping, where everybody has their thing that they use, that they abuse to make themselves feel better. But that's what this world is kind of set up to do. Like even, look at this now. They have the I Love You, Now Die, and now The Girl from Plainville. This story that they keep, they're bringing to the surface. And what is, incredible, because saw the other one and I've seen a little bit of the Girl of Plainville. When I had seen the story originally, it was just like, what the hell? And then you watch the documentary, it was like, okay, this girl is got issues. Like she's got serious issues. And already they're showing that in this new series that they've put out on Hulu. Both of them are on Hulu if you want to watch them. And if you don't know anything about the story, I mean, I knew what the story was when I watched them, so it didn't spoil it. It just gave you like more insight, like how bizarre. And the whole thing is what social media has done to people. I mean, when you start putting it ahead of people, the attention that you need, like the social media has developed so much narcissism, egotistical, just nutty behavior in people, I think. And I think that for those of us who are older, from this older generation, the one that didn't grow up on this nonsense, that we can see, like, why would you care what somebody thinks and fucking Timbuktu about you? Like, this is shallow. It means nothing, but it means everything to these people. And it's bringing out some really bad behaviors and stuff, but this is also what, humanity has to go through in the process, this generational growth process that we do as a collective. So these things are important for us to see. So when they come up, that we understand them. Like, this is a very unhealthy lifestyle to be so dependent on social media like that for your self esteem. And to be so disconnected from everyone around you. I mean, like we all can remember being in restaurants and just looking around and nobody's fucking talking. They're all just looking at their fucking phone. Like, it's weird. And, but that's been a part of what people have to learn to develop. There is no connection. This is a distraction. This is, what are you going to go to so you can feel good about yourself and get likes and focus on this stuff with people that and think about it sometimes, with family and stuff. So you don't even want to be around these people. You haven't seen, your cousin in 10 years, but it matters to you that she thinks that you had a cool time on your vacation. Like, just think about that. Like, we would rather be taking pictures to show people online rather than being in the moment and enjoying our time. And that has been a part of our development, what we've had to process as human beings. So, and it's all coming to the surface. It's all being shown. It's all being exposed to us right now. And the another thing too is, when I was watching the Bridge, what's it called? I'm so horrible with my memory. Bridgeport. It's that show that I was talking about yesterday. It's like that time period piece. It's Shonda Rhimes thing on Netflix, of course. And everything's Netflix or Hulu. Prime is, it's got its own series and stuff coming out. They're propaganda, indoctrination. They're gonna be. But right now, so far, Netflix has always been the leader. Hulu's jumping right in there. Prime's running in third place. But our indoctrination channels. And Netflix definitely wants you to see things through their eyes. And something that I've noticed, and I don't want to get too personal here, so let me think how I can say this. But I have noticed that there's certain people who see me through someone else's eyes. And if the person whose eyes they're looking through has a bad opinion of you, then these people will have a bad opinion of you because they're looking through their eyes. So how do you start getting someone to see through your eyes? I call it brainwashing. You're just constantly telling somebody what your opinion is. They're going to start, especially if they're young, they're going to start forming your opinions. They're going to start seeing what you see because you are brainwashing them, because you're pulling them in to your experience. And people are going to start seeing that that is super unhealthy. We should be allowing everyone to form their own opinions, to see through their own eyes. There shouldn't be any of this like, see what I see what I see. Like, I talk about what I see, but I'm sure the hell not going to be, running around behind everybody. You got to see it this way. You got to see it that way. No, I'm just saying, open your mind, open it up, start looking at things more broad, the perspective. Yesterday when I had my phone, I had on that dress with all those patterns and had my phone, and when I had turned it on or something, the camera or whatever, it was looking at the pattern and I was thinking, oh, that looks so weird. It doesn't look at all like the pattern. And it just was making me think about perspective. And you look up close, things look distorted. We get too emotional. Things become distorted. We can't see clearly. But the more that we step back and the more that we look from further away, the more that we see the whole picture. And that's what I keep trying to get across to people, because that is what they showed me such a long time ago about the perspective. If I was standing in a field and I was looking around, every single way that I could look in every direction of everything that I focused my vision on is a different perspective. And think about all of the billions of people and the billions of perspective, and everyone, is one better than the other? If you're standing in a field and you're looking around at the view, every single direction you can look, is there one that you would say was better than the other? No, they're just different perspectives. We got to quit getting caught up in like thinking because this person has a different perspective that that has any influence on our perspective. We can allow different perspectives. So, we need to get to that point of allowing people to express their perspective, but not get to the point of like this brainwashing. I think brainwashing, is like that cult kind of thing. But there's a lot of people who have a charismatic kind of the way they view things, or I've known quite a few people. I mean, this was a thing too that became really to the surface back, I think it was like in the 80s, maybe the 90s, when people were getting divorced, when divorce increased. Suddenly there was this increase of, the mother's perspective on the children about the father. Even to the point now, if you go to get divorced, I've had a few, so I'm an expert. When you go to get divorced, you have to take a class of not doing that to your kids. That's how significant it has become, because people do that. They don't realize how bad it is for kids to constantly be beating your perspective into their head. It's brainwashing. It's what they do in cults. And it's, not healthy for anybody. You shouldn't need anyone to agree with you. You should allow yourself, your own perspective and your own ideas, your own individuality, and not worry if other people don't see it. And always remember that you can only see and understand to your ability of understanding. You can't understand something beyond your ability. And so, of course, people have different understandings of things because we haven't all lived the same life. We're all living different lives. And just like in The Girl in Plainville, if you think about this too, as a soul's journey, her coming in and playing this part, and this guy transitioning out to make her part more significant, to make the impact to be more. And you can't just think like, well, this person's a bad person, because this person could be coming in to show this to the collective, to bring it to the surface, because there was so much underlying of these behaviors that they had to be brought to the surface. So there had to be something big, something impactful. So that's why, you can't really get caught up in like a certain person and say, oh, they're just bad. They're just a bad person. Because you don't know what their role is, what they're placed here for to do. And some of the worst things can be the best things, because it helps us to learn and grow. And that's the whole point of everything that's going on. And each person has such a different experience in that whole scenario. Like, what is it like to be a parent of somebody who does something like that? What is it like to be the friend, like everybody? That's what I'm talking about. Soul groups, when they come in together, and the people that orbit around them, and the experience, it all is so that they can learn from those experiences together. And that's also, as I think that we kind of go into our group, our vibration, our tribe, whatever, as things begin to settle down, as we begin to heal, and we start finding people we're in alignment with. I think that has something to do with our soul tribes and stuff. I think it has something to do, like you wouldn't go and be a part of somebody else's soul tribe and feel like you are at home. And we're all looking for that feeling of feeling at home, feeling like we understand, we feel connected. But the collective acceptance of one another is one thing, but then, and you can always find conversation with people, or connection with people, when you're not judging them. So it elevates us, but that doesn't mean that every single person's going to feel like home. You're going to have certain groups, certain communities where you're going to feel more in alignment with the people. And I kind of feel like that has something to do with soul tribes and stuff. I don't know for sure, but there's just so much stuff to learn from every single experience. And that's why a soul comes in and plays these, parts that can seem super wicked. And it's all so that we can learn and grow. And sometimes when it's the most impactful, it's so that we all learn from something like that. So that's a good one because it does bring a lot of stuff up. But what yesterday, so when I was talking about that show, Bridge, whatever it's called, Bridgeview, Bridgeport, or something, and I really, really like. I think I really like shows that are not like British shows, Australian shows, Irish. And I like watching independent. I like watching people who are not famous. I like watching actors just go in and act without it just being, they're famous and we want to make money on this role. So we want to make money off this movie. So let's go big box office and pull this person in. You know what I mean? And and also, Chloe Sevigny, I think is how you say it. She plays a mom in this one show, and see, she's somebody who is, she's not a leading lady. She plays all different characters. Like, she's almost sometimes unrecognizable because she's always playing all of these different characters, but she doesn't go out and get those leading lady roles. That's the thing, is like, it's weird when they try and put these leading role people in to take the other slots from the other people. Then you see, like, this is just a business. This isn't, the whole thing with Hollywood and stuff, it was never for our entertainment. So, that's just something that we have to face. And so anyways, back to this show, the Bridgeview or whatever it's called. In season 1, I really was enjoying it so much, and I love it. I'm so disappointed it's already over. But season 2, oh my gosh. So yesterday when I was watching it, I spent all day crying. I could not stop crying. And this is a trigger. And a lot of times when we get triggered by people, we're just so caught up in the, oh, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they said that or something. Instead of looking at why is that bothering me? Why do I care? Let it come up. And that's the trigger. That's the thing that we want to have happen so that we can bring stuff up. But so this show, it was, it had me in tears all day long. And it was, and I know this is one of the things that I'm here to process in my soul journey, is the thing about choosing status, or choosing lifestyle, or money, or something over love. Because, for so many lifetimes, there has been so many relationships that were not accepted because of status, because of all of those kinds of things. The social structure that didn't allow us to cross those certain boundaries in love. And we all had lives that we had to choose between love or whatever it was, the other choice. And so many of us chose the other choice because it was better to be accepted by the group than to follow your heart. I mean, your heart, could be leading you anywhere. Like, is that really a good idea to go that way? It's taken us a lot to get to this point where we are right now. And so watching that show, it was bringing that up. And I know that that is one of the big things that I'm here to go full circle on. And, because I've had this past life shown to me so many times. And that's the thing too, is when they're showing you different things of past lives, that they won't go in and just show you the whole thing. I think some people think like you're going to get a whole movie or something of a past life. And you don't really want to have a whole movie. If you really want to see more to it, you can go do those QHHT or do some sort of meditation, hypnosis kind of thing, because that's all it is you go into a deep meditation. And when somebody's there talking to you, then they can ask your higher self, ask your subconscious, to come to the forefront to, talk. And so you get a lot more information. But you can see more to your past life if you really want to see. But there's so much trauma to all of our different lives that if you just sat here and remembered them all, it would probably be paralyzing. It would probably be difficult. That's why we can't remember them. Like why we have to. It's like you're shown things to remind you so that you have that kind of in your mind. It's a way to get you to see things a certain way. So it's not like they just show you your whole past life and, oh, this is, you get clips, you get little snippets, and you'll get snippets over and over and over of certain ones and certain things that they'll show you over and over. And that is because you're here to process the things that had occurred in those lives. And like I said before, where I was this person of status and I was in love with somebody who wasn't, but I couldn't choose them because of the restrictions, societal restrictions, and I couldn't get over that, whatever it was that I did, I didn't make the choice for love. I made the choice for security, to, feel accepted or whatever. So there's so many of these lives that we've done this. And so when I was watching that, the whole season was about that. Oh my God, I was just bawling my head off. And I couldn't stop. The triggers just kept coming and coming and coming. And I love those kinds of triggers because they're just so obvious. They just start coming up. And, you're watching somebody not choose love and choose duty over love. And it was, it's going to make me start crying again. And it was breaking my heart. And to watch somebody do it when like, it's not like we've had one lifetime we've done it. We've done it several lifetimes. We've chose to duty or position or whatever it was. We chose it over love. Love seemed in the past to be more of a hindrance, a hardship, especially, we did have it on the table that people were dying at young ages. And so if you, during the period of time when there was no understanding of disease and sickness and germs and stuff like that. So in that time period, when the settlers were coming, it was nothing for somebody to die in their 20s or 30s. That was pretty much like, if you lived to be 40s or 50s, it was like you were damn old. But, we've come further from that. In this, even though it's not really a real time period because they are making their fantasy world or whatever in this show, it still has a lot of basis on some of the things that were true to our history. And there is, like in this, a guy dies of a bee sting, which, I know that they still do. It depends on how allergic you are. But they didn't have an EpiPen or something. Now people who have a severe allergy like that would carry an EpiPen with them and be prepared for something like that. But it used to kill people, real quick. I've seen, and when I was working in the ER, it was super, super sad too, because a guy was sitting out on his porch. He was a young guy too. I think he was like 35, 38 years old, something like that. And he was sitting out on the porch with his family, and they're all sitting there talking. I think they had company over and stuff, like a family barbecue kind of thing where a bunch of people were over. And he's sitting out on the porch, and I guess apparently he didn't know he had a bee allergy, and he got stung, went into anaphylactic shock, and came into the ER by ambulance, and he died. We were doing everything, but yeah, he didn't make it. And but that was his transition time. That was something that all of the other people in his orbit were going to learn and experience from this tragedy. So there's a lot of tragic things that still happen. They continue to happen because that's what we learn from. But back in the day, there was so much of not choosing love. Even in that show, it is like they're trying to even understand, like, what do you mean love? Like, love? What is love? And, they're trying to explain it to each other and stuff, like what love is. And it's like we didn't really understand it. We understand the pressure of the societal acceptance and norms and, that kind of stuff. But to love somebody was frivolous. Why would you just choose love? And so this is why it's so significant now to what's happening, because the age of Aquarius is all about love, is about us choosing love over the boundaries that are put to us. That's why all of these things are crumbling around us, because they held us too tight. They held us into a place that we didn't want to be. And that's why it's all falling apart and crumbling around us, because love is coming up. The light is shining to show the dark, so the dark can be exposed. And all of that, love is light. It's the same kind of energy. So when we're moving out of this, and that's also why all of this stuff is being exposed in relationships, why so much dysfunction and toxic behavior has been associated with relationships, because it wasn't truly love. It was something else we were looking for. We thought lust was love. We thought that because somebody was nice to us, it meant that they loved us. So, we've had to learn through that that's not love. That is something different. It's a different kind of love. And so moving into the age of Aquarius, that is going to truly be about love and being accepting of somebody, and it's going to redesign relationships. It's going to redesign what love is all about. And it's going to be a lot more of the focus, love and acceptance and unity and compassion for one another, empathy. And think about that too. Like, I saw a headline today. My stomach keeps growling, sorry. Kind of hungry, but I haven't made anything to eat yet. But I have had some cups of tea. So, anyways, the one thing is when, see, I just go off subject for 1 second. It's like, what the fuck was I talking about? That is my my brain injury with my memory. I can't remember stuff from, I swear to God. You could talk to me in the morning and then later in the evening go, hey, remember when we were talking about, and be like, no, I don't, what are you talking about? Did I talk to you today? But anyway, so let's go back to what I was talking about. So when we go into the age of Aquarius, it's going to be about love. It's going to be about the sociopath. So what I was talking about for the last couple days about if you think about your higher self in meditation and then projecting its own image. So in a hypnotic kind of state, that it creates its own births in this avatar experience so that it can go in and experience itself. And so it's very caught up in its own world, its own drama, its own experience, and it is contracted with these different beings and different people, whatever you want to think about them, different souls. And so they are in there to experience that experience together at whatever time that they orbit around one another. And so that that focus is, part of what, you need to do. But it is also has created like no empathy, because you're so focused on your own experience and what you are trying to understand, that you don't have empathy for other people's experience. You don't realize what everybody else is going through, because everybody else is going through its own traumas every single day, not just you. And so it is the person who is more cut off, more self-involved, has not reached that point of empathy and compassion for somebody, that is the sociopath and the antisocial, but it isn't like there's no hope for these people. It's not like there's no hope for anybody. There's hope for everybody to pull themselves into a conscious state of being, awakened state of being so that they can have healthy relationships, so that they can feel accepted, so that they can find their place in this world. And we've got so many people running around trying to have material things give them their place in this world. Like, people are like, oh, I'm doing so well. I could buy a $200 million house and, oh, but it just wasn't good enough. I needed to move and get this other one. And it's a hundred million dollars, but, is this looking outside of yourself, trying to find what is successful and stuff? You're not going to find it. Like, you can go to the poorest places where people are living in boxes and they're the happiest people in the world. So things are not going to bring you joy. Joy comes from inside, and joy comes from connection. Joy comes from acceptance. Joy comes from, putting out there what you're proud of and feeling good about yourself. That's where you find it. Not in, buying a cool house, buying a cool car, going out with a guy who is, super cool. Those things are not the things that bring you your feeling of content, fulfillment, the things that we're all really wanting to our core. We've gone through so many empty relationships for so long. And, but when these triggers come up, because I'm telling you, they can come up at any freaking time, allow them to come up. Allow yourself to process. Don't turn off the TV if it's a show you're watching and all of a sudden you're just like bawling your head off and you don't even know why. And you are, you think like you're weak or you've got something wrong with you or something. No, you're just processing something. Something is being purged out of you, and go with the feelings. And yesterday, so when I was going through mine and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to be getting from this? And I just couldn't quit crying. I just kept being like, oh my God, how can they pick this? Why would they not see this love? Like, it was just killing me. And the thing I got from it by the end of the day, because I kept questioning my guides, like, what am I supposed to be seeing here? What am I supposed to be getting? And what I got back was acceptance and forgiving yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the things that you've done that were ignorant. Forgive yourself for not choosing love, for choosing the shallow, superficial bullshit. And, we all have to forgive ourselves for so many things all the time. And another thing that I found interesting, and this is another show, but I don't want to say the name of it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it's so freaking good. It's so, so good. Oh my God, I loved it. And let's see if I can say something about it without giving anything away. Because the thing I found fascinating was this guy who was gay, who met somebody else's guy who wasn't gay and fell for him, and then was able to take their soul and put it in the person's body. So they switched bodies with somebody else. And it was all very nefarious. It wasn't like, it was very cruel, this whole thing. And when they did, they were no longer in someone's vision, no longer a guy, no longer a gay guy. Now they were a girl, not just any girl, the girl that they loved. So suddenly when they were able to see it, God, this show was so good, how it was showing this stuff about souls. But you're tethered to your projection, you're tethered to it. I don't think somebody can come in and bump you out. They've showed that kind of stuff in like exorcisms and stuff like that, but really it is your attachment to something else. I do think like, for people who do a lot of astral projection and stuff, I was talking to somebody else and we both had the same feeling. That's why I'm going to share it, is because, and we hadn't talked about it before, but when we talked about it, we had the same attitude about it. It was like, kind of creeps me out because you go out and not like somebody can go in and take over your body, but what if you get out of there and some other being is able to hold you out of there, and your body's just laying there comatose for however long, and your consciousness now that is tethered to this body is trapped outside of it. Because really, I see our bodies as being like a spacesuit, like I've talked about before. It's a protection, and that's why so many people gain weight, to protect them more. And because it's a protection, it's something that holds our consciousness so that we can go through and have experiences, just like if you were like if you got your arm cut off and they put on a fake arm, and then you were, let's see if I can get this straight. Sometimes when I see things, then I got to think like, okay, so if this fake arm is not going to have, okay, wait a second, I've totally lost my train of thought. But what was it I was saying about it? So if you were to go out of your body and I've got way too many things coming in my head. I might have to do a different one about that, because I have to kind of like when you start getting a whole bunch of stuff coming in there like that, it's like you can't see it all at once. Like it's hard to decipher. So sometimes I have to have like quiet time to let all of the stuff come in so that I can try and understand it. But whatever it was I was talking about with the with your consciousness. Okay, I'm just going to go off of that because now I'm just getting myself confused. Okay, so it was interesting though, where this guy switched into another body and the other person didn't recognize him. He thought something's weird, something's off with this person, but he just thought this person had gone crazy or something and was confused. And it was just such a cool concept what they were showing about this soul, because it didn't just switch once, and there was recognition by somebody else who saw, no, you're not the same person, something's off. And of course it was a kid, and the kid was very creeped out. It was a lot like the skeleton key. If you've ever seen the skeleton key, it was kind of like that same kind of concept in this, but it wasn't by voodoo. It was something else. And but there's a lot of stuff about astral projection, and that's what this thing was about. But if you do go out of your thing, to me, it just doesn't seem like a safe place to be. Like, to me, it seems safer. Like, I'm supposed to be here in this body so that I can have this experience. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of astral projectors who do it all the time and have no problems. But I've also heard some that have had some creepy ass stories. And I don't know, it just does not seem safe to me. Oh yeah, because when we come into these bodies and we are tuned in so that we can experience through these senses, and then if you, I keep getting lost. So I will have to talk about it. I don't like it when I leave stuff all holy like that, but sometimes it's, I'm not trying to be vague or something. I just haven't completed the whole thought about it. But I think anyways, you can see what I'm talking about, is that, there's a purpose to being in your body, being in this projection. And then when you are like, oh, I'm just going to go out of there, it seems like it's kind of dangerous to me. And that one guy, I just thought it was really interesting. The one guy who he did it all the time, and he was going all over the place. And then one day, and he would see entities and stuff, like when you're going into other realms, like when I came out of my body, which was totally by accident. I wasn't trying to do it. And I had another weird experience about that the other day. But when I came out by accident, and everything around me, it looked weird. Everything looked weird. It looked really smoky. And I felt like I was moving weird because I wasn't really walking. I thought I was walking, but I wasn't really walking. So it felt weird, but I felt exactly like the same person. I didn't feel any different than myself when I'm in my body. But that reality, it was like really, it was weird looking. And I've heard a lot of astral projectors because I always felt like, well, I could do that. Like I can do it naturally. I can come out of my body. So I think, I could train myself to do it by intention. But then I kind of got creeped out about it. And so this one guy who I was watching, and he did it all the time. And he said too, like the reality, the places that you go, it's just like it will seem the same, but a little bit different because it's, you're going out of this reality that we are in to experience. And so this reality is its own reality. So if you go out of it, you're not going to be in the same reality. And so when he was going out of it, he said, things were weird and you'd see different entities and different beings and stuff like that that are in that realm. But that when a government person came up and told him that they had been watching him and that they wanted to talk to him, and then he had no control, they just pulled him into a room. So see, it makes you lose a little bit of control. If someone has better mastery over their consciousness and the realms, then you have less control. And we definitely have not mastered that yet. So he, who did it all the time, got pulled into this room, and they wanted to use him probably to spy on us and spy on people because that's what they do. They know how to do remote viewing. They understand consciousness. I mean, they've been studying this for a long time, and holding it back from us so that we wouldn't understand it. But there's people who have gone and done it. But you could find that guy, I'm sure, on YouTube talking about it still, because that's where I saw him, where he was talking about it. And he had a lot of videos about astral projection. So you can go in and watch a lot of different people talk about their experiences in astral projection. And the other day, I keep trying to work on straightening my spine. And so I do a lot of stretches and stuff like that. But I was doing these stretches, and it was like I called in for healing, like, asked for assistance. And so I was doing my stretches. I literally could feel somebody holding me, holding my arms and pulling. It was so trippy. And it was so deep, these stretches. It was so trippy. It was like the same as when I was stretching that one day and I came out by accident. I just felt myself go out past my body, and it freaked me out. It was really freaky feeling. And when I pulled back in real quick, it was kind of spooky. So it was kind of like that the other day when I had said, calling in for assistance to straighten my spine. And I was doing my stretches, and oh my God, it was weird feeling. And I did a few of them. I mean, I didn't get weirded out and stop. Last night, there was like, I don't even know. There was so many, it felt like so many beings like hanging around, watching me. And I kept seeing them everywhere, everywhere I was looking. But I don't get scared. I always just wonder, like, why? What they're doing here. Why are they watching me? Like, that's always what I'm always wondering about. Like, I'm always telling them, don't linger back in the dark. Come here and talk to me if you want to talk to me. Don't just hang out and lurk. It's kind of creepy. But anyways, when it was showing that thing about, this guy going and being in a different body, that is so freaking real, is because we do get so focused on the body, we don't see the soul. And that's what we're moving towards, is the recognition of the soul, what's inside the body, not the body itself. It's what's inside. That's why we're breaking these barriers, that we are realizing, it doesn't matter about color. Like, why would that matter? Why would size matter? Why would nationality matter? Why would any of these things matter? The soul can come in any kind of car, any kind of vehicle. So why are we caught up in the outside? And that's why there's, be more of an acceptance, not a woke push for the alphabet, but the more moving towards love and acceptance, and I'm gonna love this person, like that guy. The relationship with these two guys, the one was not gay. He wouldn't have loved this guy. This guy had to come into a girl body. He didn't have the same feelings for him, but he just wanted to trick him and be more what he thought he would be, what would want him to be, somebody he could love. But really, when we get to the whole thing about love, it has been so much about, well, I love this person so much, but I'm a boy, they're a boy, so we can't really be in relationships. And that's what I was talking about before, how much societal norms have restricted us in love. And so I thought that was really fascinating. And I don't want to say the show because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it was really, really good. And it was on Netflix. And it was definitely supernatural. If somebody, hears me say this and they're like, oh, I really want to watch that show, then I'll tell you the name of it. But it was really, really good. I love these supernatural shows that show these concepts that are real, but they're not talked about because, they're so busy trying to traumatize us with all of these different people's stories of what they're going through. But there is stuff to learn, like the girl from Plainville. You are going to learn about, you know, uh, you shouldn't be more worried about if somebody doesn't love you or somebody doesn't like you, don't manipulate and try and win them over. If you're not in alignment with this person, accept it and move on. You're either in alignment with somebody or you're not. And, there's been just so much of this dysfunctional, unhealthy relationships where we've thought, oh, this is the right person, this is the person I should be with. And then, both people are trying to force it and both people are mad and angry because it's not working, because it wasn't supposed to be that way. It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to only be there to teach you. And most of our lessons, like I've said, is to teach us how to love ourselves and to accept others. And, it's up to us to move out of these toxic behaviors. And, that's the part of moving into the golden age. And the age of Aquarius is going to be about acceptance and about love. And, if love somebody of the same sex or somebody who is a different color of you, but it wasn't accepted where, in your community that you reside in, because, it's not all America. There's places in this world currently where if you are gay, you can be murdered. Not just here, like angry, mob kind of. No, like the government says it's illegal. You're not allowed to, and you'll be put to death. It's a serious situation in some countries. So, that's what we're moving away from, and being able to accept people. And think about if you were raised in a country where it was illegal, like how much that would mess with your mind. Then all of a sudden, you find out your brother's gay. There's a lot of growth right there, a lot of acceptance, a lot of learning and understanding what love is really about. And it isn't about the outside, it's about the inside. And the more we focus on the inside, the more that we find the truth to love, the truth to life, the truth to everything. The truth is inside of us. It's always been inside of us, but we were always looking outside of us. We were always looking for an acceptance, a way to fit in, a way to be a part of the community that was not connected to begin with. So anyways, we're moving towards that connection, towards community, towards acceptance. And, it's a process to get there. And a lot has to be exposed so that we can see the truth and recognize what's important and move in that direction. So anyways, just think about that stuff and I'll talk to you later. And I will try and come back and get it more, because I'm really not sure that whole thing, what it was, you know, when they were showing me about if you had a part that wasn't you, like what you have to do to connect so that you can feel it. But because our body is there so that we can experience. And so if something is removed, you don't have that same experience. In order to have it, you have to have like some sort of connection, if that makes sense. Like, that's the only thing I can really wrap my head around right now of what that was being shown to me. So anyways, if more comes to me about it, I will definitely try and explain more. But I think, you know, one thing I think too is that, you know, some of the things I always feel like I have to explain it because I don't know that it's making sense. But then I feel like sometimes I think there's some people who I don't even have to finish the sentence and they already know what I'm going to say. And that's connection. That's where, you know, we understand one another. We're on the same vibration. And so, you know, there's some people who are just going to get what I'm saying. You know, they can finish my sentence for me. They already know what the hell I'm talking about. And I don't need to go into much explanation. And then other people where you could explain it, explain it, and they're still not going to get it. They're still not going to understand because we can only understand to our understanding. And it's up to us to expand that understanding, to look for more, to want more, to open ourselves up to more truth, to more understanding. It's up to us because we've limited ourselves for so long. So, anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.